for the typical Canadian, this legislation will really affect them. It'll be a priori censoring, and the government wants to have control over the search engine strategies. I mean, that's everything, the search engine strategies. That's the gateway into the world of information itself. And so it's not good.
What was the one thing maybe that Dr. Peterson said that you found the most interesting, the most profound?
Well, I think some of the discussion on AI and what possibly that could transpire to in the future can be a little unnerving if it's in the wrong hands. And we know that there's people that don't have our best interests at heart. So that's concerning for sure.
People cannot compete with artificial intelligence. You and I, people, we cannot compete with artificial intelligence. That's scary.
David Menzies for Rebel News here at Canada Christian College in Whitby, Ontario. And folks, we just had the presentation of A History of Civil Liberties, Part 3. It was moderated by Lord Conrad Black, and his extra special guest was Dr. Jordan Peterson. And wow, did Dr. Peterson talk about a whole raft of items from wokeness, cancel culture, and artificial intelligence to the specter of internet censorship and the degrowth movement, and of course, climate change zealots. Now, folks, the event was sold out. In fact, there was a waiting list for any available tickets. So if you couldn't make it, why don't we throw to a little highlight reel of some of Dr. Peterson's best comments.
How do you feel the state of freedom of expression is in this country now, especially in the academic world?
I think the universities, for all intents and purposes, are done. I can't see any hope for them. Like, I've watched large organizations collapse for a variety of reasons. Over the last 20 years, I've been in a position to be communicating with people who've either shepherded them through a collapse or participated in the collapse, let's say. And large enterprises can fall apart very quickly once they start to fall apart, because a small number of people in any organization do all the work. And when the ship starts to sink, especially if it's scuttled by the people who are operating it, the competent people leave first. And there aren't that many of them, and as soon as they leave, you're done. And the universities haven't just made one fatal mistake, they've made like 7 fatal mistakes. And so I just can't see, they're still running on the glories of their past endeavors. They're like parasites in a whale carcass. That's a good way of thinking about it. And it's a good biological metaphor. And there's lots of whale left, but it'll run out soon. And I just can't see how they can possibly last.
What is your advice to this country and to this group about preservation of freedom of expression in the internet?
But for the typical Canadian, this legislation will really affect them. It'll be a priori censoring, and the government wants to have control over the search engine strategies. I mean, that's everything, the search engine strategies. That's the gateway into the world of information itself. And so it's not good. But the new AI systems will be able to extract out patterns from the world itself, from images and so forth, and then be able to test their linguistic constructions against the world. And so they'll practice just like scientists. And the most advanced models are going to use text and image and action as well, because they'll be able to model human action. And so, and all of that's going to come down the pipes within the next year. So hang on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because what did my friend Jonathan Pajot say? Giants are going to walk the earth once more. And we're going to live through that, maybe. So, anyways.
In terms of our rights, though, that is not a bad development.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Elon Musk, one of the things he's working on, he thinks that the world will be controlled by whoever produces the most functional AI system the fastest, because there'll be a first mover advantage. And one of the things Musk has been working on for a long time are distributed AI systems, so that you'll have your own artificial intelligence to protect you against Well, let's say against Google's artificial intelligence, for starters. Yeah, or the CCP's artificial intelligence, because you can bet your hat they're working on that about as fast as they possibly can.
In any event, I'm just going to ask some of the attendees what they thought of the discussion, and maybe if they can dredge up what the most profound thing Dr. Peterson said tonight. What was the one thing maybe that Dr. Peterson said that you found the most interesting, the most profound?
Well, the father of 5 kids, the ideologies that they're getting taught is not to our values, and the values of an immigrant to Canada from Glasgow. And I felt that we've been kind of blindsided all of a sudden, and I feel he had gave us the idea to be prepared of what's in the pipe. I think we were naive.
The university structure is almost collapsing under wokeism. He made that prediction. Yeah. 1/3 of Canadian universities might go out of business in 5 years. I found that staggering.
Yeah, no, I can see his point. I don't think they'll completely go away, but where they are right now and where they were, like you see the decline. What they are right now won't even be close.
The AI matter because everyone is worried about AI and no one knows like where it's gonna go. And I'm an engineering student, so I kind of found that fascinating, and I kind of read a bunch of articles about it. And when he mentioned it, it became like an important issue to me. And also the fact that universities are not really a place that you can debate about different ideas, no matter politically, socially. I'm a university student, so that really touched my heart on that subject.
Well, I think some of the discussion on AI and what possibly could transpire to in the future can be a little unnerving if it's in the wrong hands. And we know that there's people that don't have our best interests at heart, so that's concerning for sure.
I've got a 25 plus year experience in computers, and artificial intelligence scares the hell out of me.
Why so?
It's the implications. People cannot compete with artificial intelligence. Let's unite, people. We cannot compete with artificial intelligence. That's scary.
The most profound thing for me was Jordan Peterson willing to engage the issue of environmentalism, climate alarmism, and the way that the environmental movement is supposedly being co-opted by other forces for sinister purposes.
Well, I'll tell you the thing that shocks me all the time about him, and I'm not comparing myself to Jordan Peterson. I wouldn't dare do that, but it really struck me how similar I think about things in the world that are going on right now. That kind of surprised me. I listening to him were a lot of the things that I've actually thought about quite often. But you know what I like is not so much all the words; it's just his boldness, his willingness to say the things that he says, and to be so staunch in his resolve to stand behind what he is actually saying. And that is extremely rare that we're finding.
Well, folks, before you know it, Christmas will be here. And if you have any questions about what to buy your loved ones, well, why not go to the rebelnewsstore.com. That's rebelnewsstore.com. We have tons of Christmas-themed merchandise. Give your family and friends freedom this Christmas. That is a gift to last.